had the privilege this week of going into our grade 5 class at Yeshiva College, and we were discussing many things. But one thing came up. I explained to them the piece in the Talmud that tells us that Esther had a green complexion. She had a tinge of green. And the question is, and they were bothered, was why green? How could Esther be green? We know she's one of the most beautiful women, the Talmud tells us. So what is the Talmud teaching us that she had this green complexion? Her other name was Hadassah. Hadassah means myrtle, which is the branch that we also use in the Arba Minim, in the 4 species. And that is also obviously green. But we also know that the Midrash tells us that this myrtle has smell but no taste. And in order to produce the smell, you have to crush and break the leaves down, and that brings the beautiful aroma. So I think one of the lessons that Esther being green teaches us, and we know that Esther was the person who saved the Jewish people. She stood up even when it was very difficult and took courage, but she stood up and saved us. We also know that even when Mashiach comes and all the other Chagim and the rabbinic festivals fall away, we know that Purim, Chazal teach us, will stay. And I think Purim teaches us a beautiful, powerful lesson. And this is, I think, what Esther is teaching us. That sometimes in difficult situations, when we're crushed, when we're pushed down, when we're feeling down and it's hard and it's very difficult, that ultimately can bring the beautiful smell. That can bring the beautiful aroma. That can bring the salvation. And I think that's what we learn in lesson number 1 from Esther. And I think that is the story of the Jewish people, how often we've been crushed, but we stand up. We're not victims, we stand up. And through that, we bring aroma, we bring pleasantness, and we bring salvation. There's another idea that the myrtle leaf on Sukkot is also, another Midrash tells us that it also represents the eye. That if you look at the leaves, they look like an eye. And I think that this is also talking about that we as people in Esther had to have a positive eye, an ayin tovah, looking at the positivity, even in the mess and the murk and the difficult times, as I mentioned before. She had this positive eye to know that in order to bring salvation to the Jewish people, I have to have this positive eye. And I think that's maybe the lesson we learn from Esther. The idea that she was green is that she knew how to take challenge and bring salvation, bring happiness, bring good things from that. And Bezrat Hashem, I don't think it's only a physical green. I think the idea that we can take from this myrtle, this idea of, yes, we go through challenging times, but even through the challenging times, we'll bring the happiness, we'll bring the salvation. Please God, on a personal level, we'll find our own personal simcha this Purim. But more importantly, as a nation, as a Jewish people, the story of Purim will live on, that will defeat our enemies. We'll continue living as a Jewish people, proud, happy, even through the difficult moments, we will prevail. Purim Sameach and Shabbat Shalom.